Grenada stands ready to focus on ambitious, proactive action on key issues that will advance the interest of its people in an effort to mitigate against climate change. That commitment by Senator Simon Steele, Minister for Climate Resilience. He was addressing the Cartagena Dialogue opening ceremony at the Grenada Radisson on Tuesday, where Grenada has taken over chairmanship of the Cartagena Dialogue up to COP25 and into 2020, which is a pivotal year for the Paris Agreement. This event is an opportunity for Grenada to showcase its leadership position in the region in terms of progress in the climate change adaptation and mitigation agenda. Senator Steele says as minister he knows he has to move the country in a policy direction to resilient action as quickly as possible.
Grenada will lead. We will build resilient towns and cities. We will educate our people on how to cope through tougher storms. And by supporting sustainable choices in our energy sector, our transportation sector, and through our adaptation action. But it is not just enough to become resilient. We must call on other like-minded countries to join us in setting ambitious targets in line with the IPCC special report. After your work is done as senior negotiators, the ball is kicked to us in the political arena. Here, I plan to play my part, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a global citizen with options and choices for a sustainable future.
Head of the UK delegation at the Cartagena Dialogue Secretariat, Hugh Davis, says while some inroads were made following the Paris Agreement in 2015, there is still work to be done.
But we still have a way to go. We still have part of the rules that underpin the Paris Agreement that need to be agreed. And we really need to send a signal within the global community about how much ambition needs to be shown to tackle climate change. The IPCC's report on how to aim towards keeping the world below 1.5 degrees sent a really clear signal. We need to focus on that science and take that forward at this point. Countries showing each other how we can respond to that. We have the UN Secretary General Summit in September this year, which should help to show part of that way. And then the next two COPs this December and next year in 2020 should be really key points when we as a smaller group of countries, but also the wider global community can, as I say, bring Paris to life and send the signal to business, send the signal to the markets that we are really serious about delivering on the Paris Agreement and tackling climate change for those, particularly those most vulnerable.
Grenada is currently also chair of the OAS Inter-American Council for Integral Development with a focus on building resilience and reducing vulnerability, and has just completed and handed over its chairmanship of the Small States Forum and the OECS Council of Ministers of Environment. The country used its leadership positions to lobby for an enabling environment for small island developing states to access assured, predictable streams of climate finance from the Green Climate Fund and other key sources for resilience action, and to keep the Paris Agreement agenda focused on the 1.5 degrees target. Ms. Roxy McLeish Hutchinson, Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Climate Resilience, says their main concerns include adequate financing and technology transfer as they seek to build resilience.
Going into COP25, Grenada wants to make sure that we ensure that our countries and our partner countries maintain the sustainable low-carbon development pathway. We also want to ensure that there is adequate financing for small islands like Grenada to be able to mitigate and adapt to climate change, to implement our projects, and to ensure that technology transfer is key for us as well, because it is what helps us to be able to build resilience. So for COP25, we just want to make sure that we stay the course and that we ensure that our partners, our colleague member states, the international community does not backslide on the commitments made in Paris and on the rule book that we decided on in Katowice.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.